Let me tell you what happens in this book. Some stories do not begin with tragedy. They begin with expectations, with quick judgments, with first impressions that seem final, but are not. Pride and Prejudice is a story about learning how to look again. It all begins in the quiet English countryside at the end of the 18th century. The Bennet family has lived there for many years. 5 daughters, no male heir, and one constant concern. For Mrs. Bennet, there is only one goal in life: to see her daughters well married, because in that society, a woman's future depended on it. The calm of the place is broken when news arrives. A wealthy young man has rented the neighboring estate, Netherfield Park. His name is Charles Bingley, polite, cheerful, kind, and most importantly, single. The first local ball is held, and that is where everything begins. Bingley quickly charms everyone. He dances, he laughs, he speaks with ease, and it becomes clear to everyone, except to himself, that he is enchanted by Jane Bennet, the eldest daughter. Jane feels the same, but Jane is reserved. She does not give herself easily to emotion. She does not exaggerate. She does not dramatize. Her affection is quiet, almost invisible, and this will become a problem. Elizabeth Bennet, the second daughter, observes everything closely. She notices the growing affection between Jane and Bingley, but she also notices the influence of Mr. Darcy. Darcy is reserved, proud, distant. At the first ball, he refuses to dance and dismisses Elizabeth as not handsome enough to tempt him. Elizabeth hears it, and she never forgets. From that moment on, Darcy becomes, in Elizabeth's eyes, the embodiment of everything she dislikes: arrogance, coldness, and pride. Elizabeth later travels to visit her childhood friend Charlotte Lucas. Charlotte has done what Elizabeth always said she would never do. She married for convenience. Her husband is Mr. Collins, pompous, insecure, and excessively obedient to social rules. Elizabeth observes that household with discomfort. Everything functions, but without affection, without passion, without true choice. And this strengthens her belief that marriage without love is a silent form of imprisonment. It is during this visit that Darcy makes the unthinkable. He declares his love, but his declaration is flawed. He speaks of his feelings mixed with reproach. He speaks of the struggle against his own emotions, of how her social position is an obstacle, of how her family is unsuitable. Elizabeth is shocked, and she rejects him. Darcy later gives her a letter, and that letter changes everything. After reading Darcy's letter, Elizabeth is no longer the same. Nothing around her has changed, but everything inside her has. She revisits old conversations, looks, gestures, and realizes how quick and unfair her judgments were. Later, Elizabeth visits Pemberley, Darcy's estate, and there, everything feels different. The servants speak of Darcy with respect and gratitude, and when Darcy appears, he is no longer distant. He is kind, attentive, respectful. Elizabeth begins to wonder whether Darcy has changed, or whether she is finally seeing who he always was. Then disaster strikes. Elizabeth learns that her younger sister Lydia has run away with Wickham. Her family's reputation is at risk. Darcy acts, without announcing it, without seeking recognition. He finds Wickham, pays his debts, forces the marriage, and saves the Bennet family from ruin. Elizabeth's view of Darcy is no longer the same. She no longer sees only the proud man from the first ball. She sees someone capable of humility, sacrifice, and responsibility. And for the first time, she allows herself to admit the truth. She loves him. Lady Catherine de Bourgh attempts to interfere. She demands that Elizabeth promise never to accept Darcy. Elizabeth refuses, firmly, respectfully, but without submission. Darcy returns. And this time, he speaks without pride, without excuses. He asks again, and Elizabeth accepts. The marriage of Elizabeth Bennet and Fitzwilliam Darcy is not born from illusion. It is born from growth, from self-awareness, from humility, from change. Pride and Prejudice is not simply a love story. It is a story about learning to see beyond first impressions, about understanding that true love begins only when pride is overcome and prejudice is left behind. And that is what happens in Pride and Prejudice, a story about mistaken judgments, inner growth, and a love that becomes possible only through transformation.